The question that everyone wants answered: when are we going to hit the top? That is what everyone wants to know, because the markets have been on a spree recently, but there's got to be a top somewhere. We got to have a slight pullback eventually. I'm your host, Jaden Vrains, founder of Vrains Capital. This is Pulse on the Market, the show designed to help you guys stay in the loop with all things regarding to stocks, crypto, geopolitical news, whatever it be, to help you make better, more educated financial decisions. Let's get right into it for today. So last Friday, let's take it back to last Friday, we saw a huge pullback in the market. We saw the NASDAQ was taking a hit, the Dow, S&P, and once again today, all the indexes are down. So we saw this coming. It can't be sunshine and rainbows forever. We can't see these huge 1-2% days every single day of the week. We have to have some sort of pullback. The market right now, especially like the S&P, the forward valuations for it are very overvalued. They're very overbought in regards to PE ratio, the price to earnings. So typically over the last 10 years, I believe it was around 17.5 is the average for the forward PE, or for just the PE ratio in general. And right now the PE ratio is 21. And the forward isn't dropping it that much either. So we see that the market in general is very overbought. It doesn't mean we can't continue to hit all-time highs and that stocks can't continue to grow. It's just we're trading at a very high multiple as we speak. So pullbacks like these, due to news such as the unemployment rate, it went up to over 3%. Although we did add 75,000 more jobs in the month of February than expected, still the unemployment rate rose, and this is causing a scare in a lot of investors, and we're seeing a slight pullback today. It's not down too bad. The Dow is down 0.04%, the Nasdaq is down 0.3%, the S&P is down 1.3%, small caps are down 0.5%, and the 10 years up 0.42% to 4.096. So it started off a lot worse. We're starting to see stocks like SMCI recover. They were down around 100 points, but now they're only down 38, which is still a pretty big hit, but still not as bad. NVDA was down horrendously in the pre-market. They were down to like 852, then the stock dropped down to 845. Now it's back up to 871. We're starting to see just a few cracks in these big-time stocks. So their market cap was at 2.4 trillion. They were on the rise. They were coming for Apple, and we're now seeing at 2.18 trillion. Still huge market cap, huge growth out of NVIDIA, but it's starting to stall slightly. And this is expected. It can't go up forever, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it later this week start to increase once again, maybe even tomorrow. This is not financial advice, but I'm just saying an opinion that typically when we see a pullback in NVIDIA, it tends to rebound and push higher. I don't know if this is the top for it, but it still has a lot more potential for growth. And so I would play it long run. I mean, you could even day trade the stock just because of how volatile it is and the highs and lows. It can be slightly predictable. I mean, you can increase your probability if you're constantly watching it, but still, it is risky to day trade NVIDIA just because of how much it moves. But still, you can make some huge gains. All right, we're seeing stocks in the pharmaceutical area. They're taking a pretty big hit today. We have Viking Pharmaceutical, the Viking VKTX, the company that Eli Lilly almost bought when they're at around $40 a share, $30 a share, and now it spiked to $90, and now it's down to $63. So it's been moving like crazy. Today's down 11%. Eli Lilly is also down 4%. Novo Nordisk down 1%. And we're seeing the pharmaceutical sector take a pretty big hit today. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the biggest winners and losers for the S&P today. So you can just Google it, pull up a whole list of how all of them are doing, the biggest winners and losers. Moderna is, they're either on the biggest loser or the biggest winner, I swear. But they're up 9% today. Albemarle as well is very frequently on the top losers, but today it's on the top gainers. It is up 6%. We have Paramount up 4%. We got Fox up 3%. So some pretty big winners. The majority of the companies are down, though. We have Eli Lilly, which is the biggest loser today, 4%. Meta Platforms down 4%. AMD down 3.5%. So we're seeing a lot of these big companies. Boeing down another 3%. They have some news coming out. I'll get into that later today. And so we're seeing these big companies start to see a little bit of cracks in them. I don't know how long they'll last or if they'll get filled and recover and spike back up again. But this is back-to-back days where we've seen a pullback in the market. Hopefully this trend doesn't continue. I'd rather not have a recession. But even if we do enter into a major recession, it's not the end of the world. This is like the natural way things work in the economy. This is bound to happen eventually. And for example, things we saw in the dot-com bubble, the '08 crash, stuff like this happens, and it's historically proven to continue to happen. But when that happens, it's crazy the amount of major companies that are born in recessions, because everything is discounted, everything is cheaper, and you're able to have a far larger impact with cash. If you enter into a recession in either housing market or stocks, you can buy things at a very, very cheap price and ride the reversal. And so it's crazy how many of the Fortune 500 companies were born in recessions. And it's also a test to see how good a company really is if they can survive a recession. So there are pros and cons. Rather not go into one, but if it does come our way, there are ways to mitigate our risk and turn the reversal and make some money as well. All right, let's see here. So Reddit's IPO and valuation, they're planning on going public. And you can currently on apps like Robinhood, you can actually apply to get shares pre-IPO and have them reserved essentially. And so they're selling around 22 million shares, priced at between around $31 to $34 per share. So this would be around a $6.4 billion valuation. Pretty large for Reddit. And so I was looking at recent companies that have also gone public. Yes, there are companies that just take off and do super well. But also recently, companies haven't been doing so well off the start. And it is risky going in IPO because, yeah, these shares could be considered super cheap later down the road. Like, man, I wish I bought them at the IPO. But still, they could tank. They can have a huge pullback, and you just bought very expensive shares of Reddit. So we'll have to see and find out. All right. So Wegovy, which is the Novo Nordisk weight loss drug, and so it is FDA approved to reduce heart disease risk in adults with obesity, potentially broadening insurance coverage for the drug. So, I mean, this is good news. Novo Nordisk has been coming out with solid news reports and solid test results as well. I think there's another one that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. And so this is bullish news for the weight loss industry. So it's not only is it helping them lose weight, but also reduce heart disease risk. So there's still a probability, but it helps manage that risk. No one wants heart disease. So this is good news. Another benefit of Wegovy, which is their weight loss drug. Bitcoin reached a new all-time high. Let's check out what the current price is. So right now it's at 72,620, and this is their all-time high. This is remarkable, really. And we're seeing a lot of different smaller altcoins start to go up. We got Avalanche up 10%, Chainlink up 6%. We got XRP up 16%. So yes, we had how much did Bitcoin increase today? So this is why I like investing in the smaller coins. I don't own anything of Bitcoin itself, although I am bullish, but I think that the smaller altcoins have a higher probability of just hitting those huge gains. So, and that's mainly what I'm looking at for crypto. It's totally gambling, all of this. I mean, invest at your own risk, but still, Bitcoin is up 4% today, while these other coins that I'm invested in are up for like 10%, 16%, which is why I don't specifically invest in Bitcoin. And yeah, that's not investment advice, guys. Do it at your own risk. You could lose all your money in crypto 100%. And Alex Becker, I love his disclaimers. He's a huge crypto guy. And yes, he says that is 100% gambling. But hey, we're trying to increase our risks of doing well. But crypto is definitely very volatile and very risky, but you can have huge gains off crypto. All right. So the Department of Justice, the DOJ, they initiated a criminal investigation into Boeing. And so into that specific Boeing jetliner incident, you remember that with Alaska Airlines when that panel just launched off and landed in a teacher's backyard. And so they're I don't know what they're specifically investigating or what they're looking for, but yes, that is risky. I mean, it's a security risk. It terrified all the passengers on the plane. And also, I mean, if that landed on someone, that is an instant death, 100%. So we need higher security with stuff like that. And they also, Boeing, with another news report, so United Airlines paused its pilot hiring this spring due to Boeing delivery delays. So they adjusted their growth forecast for 2024. And the airline says it now expects to receive 56 Boeing 737 MAX planes this year instead of 77. So they're not producing as quickly as they should either, which is another factor of Boeing dropping in price. They used to be at $260 a share, now they're down to $190. So they've been getting clobbered recently. Interesting take on Pfizer. So I'm researching a lot on Pfizer. So they're switching their focus from COVID-19 vaccines to cancer drugs. And I think if Pfizer gets into their growth mode, into their innovation mode, and they start coming out with better products, because COVID-19, the vaccines are not in demand as they once were. Obviously, we're getting out of the pandemic. And so they're shifting their focus to cancer drugs, aiming to revitalize its business after the COVID-19 sales slump, according to the CNBC article. So they had a 40% share drop in 2023. And they want to potentially launch 8 blockbuster medicines by 2030. So I'll have to look into it a little more, but I think they do have the potential to turn it around this year. It is a very, very cheap stock as we speak, for a reason. I mean, their EPS, the revenue was dropping quite dramatically, but I think they do have the potential to turn it around, to launch these 8 blockbuster medicines that aren't related to COVID, essentially, and to really, boost profits, boost their earnings per share, and just the overall stock price. I think they have quite a large potential. All right. Disney is seeking to expand its California theme parks with immersive attractions like Frozen and Zootopia. It requires local approval, but this is a $1.9 billion plan that would be executed over the next 4 decades. So, whoa, that's huge. That is a lot of money and a lot of time, man. So that's pretty cool. I also saw that Barbie wants to release their own amusement parks as well, and also like a mini park and with roller coasters. So they are looking to create amusement parks as well. So that would be big for Mattel Creations. And so I wonder when that will be done. I don't think it's going to be done for a while, but still, that is in the making. They're planning on doing that. So Altman is back. That's the co-founder and CEO of OpenAI. So he returned to the company's board of directors, and an independent investigation found his firing unnecessary, leading to a reshaped oversight team and his reappointment. So he's back on the board, and so big news for OpenAI. We had a weird little moment there where he got fired, Microsoft hired him, and then he left again to go back to OpenAI. So it was a mess, but he's back to where he was. We'll see what ends up happening with OpenAI. And Elon Musk says that his company xAI will open source its chatbot. So this is back to the feud between OpenAI and Elon Musk. And so this is going to be a rivalry, apparently. So his company's xAI, which is another chatbot. So, hey, I'd love to try it out. We'll see how. I never even heard of xAI, if I'm going to be honest. But so I'd be down to try that out 100%. Upcoming earnings. So today after the close, Oracle will report. They're estimating $13.3 billion in revenue, which is 7% year over year, and 1.38% or $1.38 in earnings per share, which is up 13% year over year. Let's see. We got Dollar Tree reports Wednesday. We got UiPath, which is PATH, will report Wednesday. Adobe will report Thursday. Dollar General Thursday. Ulta Beauty Thursday. So we got quite a few earnings report on Thursday, along with Dick's Sporting Goods, Key Holdings. So stay tuned for those earnings reports. And sounds good. Sweet. All right, let's take a quick look back at the indexes. So, yep, from the start of the podcast, we've seen that they're actually starting to drop a little bit, raise. I'm looking at it from a negative point of view, and sorry. So, yes, the indexes are slightly going up. We got the Dow down 0.04, and then 0.32 for the NASDAQ, 0.15. So, the markets seem to be recovering slightly, and because the Dow was down to, it was down a lot more today. So, not too concerned. I think we're going to go into the post-market looking positive. At least we're going to see some growth in the post-market. This is all speculation, nothing certain. But I think that tomorrow we will see a rebound in the market and that the stocks will start to recover. I think that NVDA as well will recover a lot of its price deduction, and we'll see if SMCI does as well. But that is a completely speculation. If we have another third day, I would start to be very cautious. I would start to looking at hedging positions and whatnot, because the last thing I need is to enter a recession not ready for it and to take massive hits on all my positions. So, but that is it for today. I will keep you guys in the loop and maybe come out with an episode tomorrow morning super early, so that way you get a head start on the market. And so that is it for today. Once again, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. You guys are the best. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you have a stock ticker that you want me to investigate and research for you, just let me know. Reach out at marketpulse.io on Instagram, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Here's my little podcast. This podcast is for informational purposes only. It's not financial advice, investment, legal advice. It's none of that. So this is all personal opinions and experiences, and you should conduct your own research and seek the advice of qualified professionals before making any investment decisions. So this could all be inaccurate and not complete. All the information shared, just to let you know. And so I'm not responsible for any actions that you guys take based off the content of this podcast. It's all risky, and past performance is not indicative of future results, and I'm not responsible for any losses or damages that may occur as a result of investments made after listening to this podcast. Love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.